In that box? Yeah. Good thing about And, you know, they took off all week. But it's about a week. Well, the same last week. Tracy was out. A lot of Tracy was out. Wide open there.
Oh, okay. Well, we had two superintendents, and the jobs of the office was right at the price. So, one comes through, that's all I had. Took the way it's July, I'm going to take Friday. But I got yeah, we're 60 hours a day for water what's the shooting cost? Fuel prices, I got to stay with them there. Yeah, Okay. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I've got you. So this is there's a lot of I'd like to welcome everybody to the Madison County Board of Commissioners Agenda Setting Work Session, July 1st, 2024 at 6:04 p.m. We'll call this meeting to order, and I'll start off with the chairman's report. I'll be brief tonight on the chairman's report. A few things that is just notable this coming 4th of July, the Colbert City Parade will be going on, starts at 9 a.m.
I think Colbert also is planning a fireworks for that night. I don't have the specific details on whether they're gonna hold that event or not, but I do know that there's a fireworks show in Isla at the Black Antler Tattoo. That is on the 4th, and then again, the city of Comer on the 6th will have events in Comer with car show and firework events in Comer. A few things for the public. Paving is coming to a close. We are ahead of schedule with our paving process. The last road was just completed, which was Lucky Jones Road. I've got a lot of calls about old Wildcat Bridge Road, in that process over there. So Wildcat Bridge Road has what you would call a triple surface put on that road, and it's basically temporary because old Wildcat Bridge Road is probably going to be the state detour route when they close that Highway 29 bridge, and I personally didn't want to go in and spend a lot of money paving that road if it ended up catching all the truck traffic for the detour. So we chose just to seal the road off for now. If the state deems that they're not going to use that direction for a detour and choose to go 174 route, then we'll come in and finish that road. But currently, so everybody that keeps calling want to know why it's half done. That's the reason. Duffel Martin Road, we will be closing potentially Monday or Tuesday. If weather permits, we have to put a new pipe in Duffel Martin Road. It does have 2 entrances, so nobody's panicked. Just be cautious that we will have the road tore apart and there will be road closures. Lynn Edwards paving has completed. We worked on shoulders today. We think those will be done by Wednesday of this week. The shoulders will be pulled. Seed and straw will come Monday and Tuesday of next week. At that point, we should be able to get off of Lynn Edwards altogether. Special note, we have a winner. There was a car crash on that road within 24 hours of paving. Do not call me asking for speed bumps. You're not getting them. Warning up front. Just because it's nice and smooth and wide, still there's a speed limit of 45. Be cautious. The mowing crews is finishing up the Colbert area. We have 1 crew on Black Creek Church Road. The mowing crew in Colbert will be proceeding on towards Comer. The Black Creek Church Road group is going up Friendship. There's some other road work being done. At this point, it's no issue with any kind of road closure, and that's Highway 172 at Moore's Lane. We are lowering that bank about 40 foot, so if you're familiar with the Moore's Lane intersection there on 172, you cannot see around Moore's Lane. If you're at Moore's Lane, you can't see to the right. We are that property owner there. The Marlowe family has agreed to let us come in and cut that bank down. We are working outside of the right-of-way, so it's one of those situations to where they had to deed it over to us, build to us, but it will definitely be safer because it's a pretty dangerous blind curve right there. Parsons Road is about 80% complete on widening it out. That was one of those roads, it was only a single lane wide with no real turnaround, so that road has been widened out about 4 more foot. And I think we put gravel down today, so I'm going to tell you it's about 80% completed, which should be done by the end of the week. And that is about it for the road updates and for my report. And I'll move into business involving groups, guests, multiple visitors, and I think Ms. Alita Turner from Madison County Library is here to give her report.
Good evening. First thing I want to say tonight is give a great thanks, to TC Lefford. As of just a little after 5 o'clock today, I was told that they got our air conditioner unit turned on again. It is very much thanks to TC staying on it that I think we're going to have a little cooler building tomorrow, and I am greatly appreciative as everybody who spends time there. Thank y'all, and know that we appreciate TC. Just give you some highlights of some things that we've had going on. We've got a project going with Project Safe, where a lady from them is coming once a month to spend time in the library, to be a place where people can come meet with her without having to travel all the way to Athens. And that seems to be going very well. I'm excited that we've made that connection for folks. To Commissioner Adams specifically, thank you for suggesting Clyde Verheyen as a local author to come. He did come speak to our Madison Writers Group, and we had a very successful event where he talked about his work, and people asked good questions, were very engaged, and he enjoyed himself so much that he has since become just a regular member of the group, and he's coming monthly now. So thank you to you all for making suggestions when you have them for us, and thank you specifically for that one. Also related to local authors, we have started a local authors collection. So when you first walk in the building, right there on the right, there's a bookshelf filled. We're actually going to probably soon have to figure out a new configuration because we're getting so many things for it, of books, and we even now have a CD by a local musician. So these are all items written by authors in Madison County or right around here. And they're available for people to check out and read and give our local authors a little bit of extra publicity. So I'm very excited that it's kind of growing. We have a partnership with Farm Bureau that continues to go very well. They come semi-regularly and do fun activities with kids, whether it's pulling carrots out of a pretend ground or picking apples, different things that teach kids about some of the agricultural things going on. And they also donate books to us, and it's a really nice partnership that we're very happy to have. Just a nice story that you'll see in your report. One of our staff members, Ashley Graham, spent a lot of time helping another local musician upload her music to a website from which one can then make CDs. And the patron later came back with a copy of that CD and wanted to hug and thank Ashley specifically for having helped her so much on that. Going forward, some things we have going on in July. You already mentioned the Colbert 4th of July celebration. Our Friends of the Library, along with at least one staff member, will be at that event. On the 10th of July, we have the pediatrician from MedLink coming to do a read aloud to children right after our regular story time. Then on the 11th, we have a character visit. Clifford the Big Red Dog, we will have live and in dog, so to speak, to visit with people at the library. And that'll be right before the Board of Trustees meeting, so a little fun before the business there. The Georgia Museum of Art is bringing a program to us on the 13th. They were going to do a face jug making program with kids. So that should be a very neat thing. You get to take home their own jug that they made. This month we will have our second escape room for teens. We had our first one in June. It was filled to capacity, and all the kids had a great time. They did escape the room. It was a museum theme, and the second one is going to be similarly designed and a good time. And the final thing I wanted to mention is we're going to have a family-friendly series of Dungeons and Dragons games. We have a volunteer who's a local mother who's going to come in and lead those programs for teens and adults. So it's a family-friendly series.
Appreciate it, thank you very much. Do I have any questions? All right.
Thank you.
She reminded me by saying something there about the air conditioning. You know, we've been plagued this year with multiple facilities with air conditioning units going out, probably more so than we actually projected, but there is a bright shining star in it all, starting back about, what'd you say, Lacey, 4 months ago? The federal government come out with a grant program. Turns out it was just for correctional use only for air conditioning units. Madison County did apply. I got to give credit to Jeff Vaughn and Lacey, Christina, but we found out that we were awarded that grant. It'll be replacing 8 air conditioners on top of the jail to the tune of about $250,000-ish. That won't cost Madison County taxpayers any money. So I'm glad that Chief Deputy Vaughn and our clerical workers helped facilitate that. That was a short window in which we did not meet. We had to call and beg for an extension due to inventory. They gave us a window, said they weren't done by July 1st, and we didn't find out about it until almost April. So I think one of the companies are still waiting about 22 weeks out on air conditioning units. So anyway, turns out, according to Chief Deputy Vaughn, a company from right here in Madison County, Healthy Climate, I think the gentleman who lives in Harrison was the one that got the award to put those on. You know, I said this the other day in the chairman's report, I think I did, or I meant to do it. Just like Lim Edwards Road, everybody we used on Lim Edwards Road was from this county. From the tree cutters, to the clearing of the brush, to the debris, even the gentleman that oversaw the paving, McGarrett Paving, lives here on Duffel Martin Road. We do our very best to try to keep all our work right here at home. So I'm pretty proud that Madison County does offer that many different services. I don't know that there's anything in this county that we have to go out of county for unless we choose to. So it's a pretty good deal. All right, moving on. Public hearing. Mr. Canola, Scott?
How are you, sir?
Good, sir.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. So we'll try to get through this as painless as we can. Our first public hearing, Hunter Downing, applicant for Prisons Enterprise Incorporated, is requesting to rezone 25.38 acres from A1 to R1 to develop a subdivision consisting of 14 1.5-acre lots. The property is located at 1216 Diamond Hill, Corbett Road in Corbett, map 58, parcel 49, District 5. Public hearing was held. No one came forward in favor of this particular rezone request, although there were 5 persons to come forward in opposition to this particular rezone request. The final vote was 6-0 to approve with conditions that the road between Nancy's Place, Phase 1 and 2 be connected. And number 2, that would have a fire hydrant placed within 500 feet of proposed homes. The vote from the Planning and Zoning was 6-0 to recommend approval.
All right, thank you, sir. Would you like to speak?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Good evening. If y'all don't mind, can I pass out a little packet to each of y'all?
Sure. Please state your name and.
My name is Hunter Downing, a representative for Prison Enterprises.
And your address, young lady.
The address of the rezone, or?
No, it's just your address.
I live off Spratlin Mill Road in Hull.
Gotcha. It's just for record.
Yes, sir, yes. I'm requesting to rezone our 25-acre tract from A1 to R1 to develop a 14-lot subdivision. Page 1 that you're looking at is the preliminary plat. The subdivision will be connected to Nancy's Place existing subdivision, so it will be connected to Phase 1 off of Culvert Diamond Hill Road, and Phase 2 will have an exit off of Kincaid Cemetery Road. We're following the exact subdivision covenants as in Phase 1. I'm working with the city of Culvert and Piedmont to get a letter. Piedmont has said they could provide water to this subdivision. I'm working with the city of Culvert since it goes through the city to get the specifics in that letter to provide. We do plan to have fire protection in this subdivision. If you turn to page number 2, I just wanted to give y'all an idea of how these two phases, Phase 1 and Phase 2, would connect. So y'all would see we definitely plan on connecting roads. And then that's just the only reason I wanted y'all to have that one, but Phase 3, I did hear a few concerns about traffic increase, traffic flow. Page 3 is a traffic flow diagram that indicates the foreseen traffic flow through this subdivision, Phase 1 and 2. Most traffic will flow out of Diamond Hill Culvert Road if they're exiting Phase 1. If they're exiting 2, they'll turn onto Kincaid Cemetery Road, then turn on to Culvert Diamond Hill Road. I do not see any foreseen substantial increase in traffic flow down Kincaid Cemetery Road out of the Brush Creek subdivision. During the P&Z meeting, I also heard concerns for property value decreasing. We did a subdivision off Cadence Springs a mile down the road. I pulled a few comps just seeing the increase between it when they were built in 2020 to 2024. There was an increase of at least 40% in each of the homes off that subdivision from 2020 to 2024. I did adjoining properties. I saw an average increase of 30% to those properties. I do not believe this subdivision will decrease property value whatsoever. If you have any questions or anything, I am here to take your answers, but that is my piece.
All right. Yeah, while you're up, because I'll still go before the board and bring it back and all that kind of stuff. But right now, I want to ask you a couple. Is there a reason that you chose to, the company, chose to go out on Kincaid Cemetery Road versus coming back to the Diamond Hill Culvert Road?
I think that is just how the engineer has developed these plans. I believe in subdivision review that can be addressed as well and changed. This is just the preliminary plan for this rezone.
I agree.
Yes, sir.
I stated that because when it comes back, I would like to see that change. And the reason I ask that is, and we don't know, that's only if this board approves. This is some of the things I'm going to be expecting.
Yes, sir.
Or this board will be expecting. The reason I say that is Diamond Hill Culvert Road is a through road. It is built to better specs. It has a better surface. It has a better base under it, and it's also wider than Old Kincaid Road. I personally would not want to load up even 20 more cars if I ain't got to off Old Kincaid Road when I have a through road adjacent to it. And I looked at it, I done the math, when I saw it in my packet earlier, and I pulled the measurements. It's nothing more than flipping a road from the right to the left. There's no distance change. It's probably 70 or 100 foot shorter to go the route I'm talking about anyway. So it may save you a little bit of money. My question was, I was wondering, was that because of potential water excess is why y'all was trying to come off of it?
I believe that is a fact of it. Again, I am working with Piedmont to get specifics, and I wish I had more to tell you at this meeting, just because it's hard. Getting with, the engineering process is a little hard, but that is one of the reasons that I think they wanted to come out on Kincaid Cemetery Road.
Yeah, but just keep in mind the engineer, he'll let them know that it was mentioned. I'm sure he'll draw a water easement right straight where that road was, So it still won't be no problem to come off that road if you need water off that road off of the property line.
Yes, sir, completely understood.
So in the motion from the, and I heard it stated a minute ago, but just for clarity, for legal purposes, I heard it, the P&Z board, put a condition in of a fire hydrant every 500 feet. And that would require fire flow to be operable. I know in the last one, Nancy's place, we did put the fire hydrant, but there was not enough flow, so the fire hydrant was removed due to the flow purposes. But if this goes according to all virtual plans, then you'll have adequate flow with a potential 6-inch or 8-inch line running through that subdivision, tying Kimberly Drive to it, which would put that fire hydrant back in activity, so that way they have fire protection also.
That is the plan, yes, sir.
And I know you'll probably need to find out from Piedmont, do they have the capability of getting that fire protection? So
In my talking back and forth with an engineer, he has told me that it looks like everything can be done.
good, that's good. And it's just known through what this board is trying to do is when we build these subdivisions, we want fire protection to follow. So that's why it's so important. And I know y'all know that. So, gentlemen, any questions before I open it up to the floor? All right.
Thank y'all, sir, very much.
All right. Anyone here, and if, I'll give you an opportunity to come back and answer any questions that may be asked of the board if we don't have the answer to, okay? Anyone here speak in opposition to this rezone request? Sure. Oh. No, go ahead. That's all right. Go right ahead.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, ma'am. My name is John King. My address is 1211 Diamond Hill Culvert Road. So my 35 acres is directly across the street from where the subdivision will be. I'm specifically concerned, actually, with what I just heard with two things. One is if indeed there are two accesses to this subdivision off of Diamond Hill Culvert Road, particularly considering the curbs in that road as one leaves Culvert. As you suggested a number of moments ago with Lim Edwards Road, people don't drive 45 miles an hour down the road. It's a lot faster. If you do this, and I would highly encourage you, at the developer's expense, to put some type of deceleration lane to actually turn into that subdivision. That does not exist with the current subdivision that is close to Culvert, and I have seen a number of times that creates a backup. Secondly, my larger concern, and you suggested this a number of moments ago, Mr. Chairman, in the case of whether or not there is a road that exits onto Old Kincaid or Kincaid Cemetery Road, if you guys approve this, you're setting the precedent in this area for more subdivisions. What happens if someone buys all that property that currently is at the intersection of Kincaid Cemetery Road as well as Diamond Hill Culvert Road, and they want to put it in a similar subdivision? If you approve this, the precedent is set. And I'm quite concerned about that. And secondly, I think one of the fundamental arguments that needs to be clearly stated is there's no reason why this developer can't build on the property as it's zoned now, as opposed to 14 lots and get 7, 8, or whatever the particular number is. I would ask you to please consider that, because my wife and I live in the area. We've invested heavily in the area. I'm sure a number of individuals who live in Brush Creek elsewhere also are concerned about what potentially this may do as a precedent in the area. So I would ask you not to rezone, but thank you very much for considering.
I'm going to try to help you just, so right now it's currently zoned A1.
Right.
So, and there is a total of 25 acres. You can only have one house on it, just so you know. And I want to also, because I know there's going to be more questions, probably very similar to yours, I'm just going to try to help. This request is for everybody in the room, pros and cons, mad at me or not. This is not really an unfair request based off the density around it. It is within the city limits. And if you look at our comprehensive plan that we spent a lot of time doing, it's not city limits. No, it's not, but it's adjacent to the city limits, very close. I'm not saying it's not too close, it's not too far. I'm just saying it is in an area that is known for density. So that's all I'm saying.
No, well, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate you and the questions. Anyone else here to speak in opposition?
Josh Booker, 354 Kincaid Cemetery Road. We own the property in Brush Creek, directly across from where they're going to try to develop this. You addressed one of my concerns, which was coming off the outlet onto Kincaid. You know, Brush Creek, we don't have a shoulder, we don't have sidewalks, so pedestrian traffic is in the street all the time. So that's a concern. If you allow them to go as planned with that design, it's going to add 15 to 20, maybe more traffic every day, consistent on that road. So that's my first concern, is safety. Second concern is our investments. So I'm in Brush Creek. Those are 4 to 5 acre lots. 500,000 to $1 million is what those are valued at. We've invested heavily in those properties, and what they have decided to propose is not consistent with that area. So in the past, Madison County has lost sight and maybe not protected that higher bracket of property tax. And so as a result, we've had people in Oconee County and Jefferson and Jackson that wanted to move back, were hometown people from Madison County, wanted to move back into the community, but didn't because they're in that 700,000 plus range and they don't have any assurance that their investment is going to be protected. It's my opinion that the 40% increase was inflation. Everybody saw a 40% increase from 2020 to 24. That was not indicative of what they built. I think that the caliber of stuff that they've built in the past shows what they're going to build now, and it's going to bring our property values down instead of continue to build. So I ask that you take that into consideration to protect our investments and just think about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Not for you, question for you. Did y'all indicate what size homes and what dollar figure that y'all plan on building?
In this phase, or this other, I believe the square footage would be 2,400 feet, would be the minimum.
I just didn't see it anywhere. It may be in this paperwork. I just may have missed it. I apologize.
Yes,
One thing I forgot to answer was your other question. We would have to look at line of sight on that based off of where their engineer would deem the road might go, and it could potentially be in the next phase of the drawing approval as to where that requirement could or could not come in, just so you know. It's not, if you don't hear us say it tonight, don't mean it's over. It's just the fact that we need to first see it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else here in opposition? Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
John Fairman, 673 Kincaid Cemetery Road. And, Mr. Chairman, I would agree with you, but I would have to disagree with Ms. Downing that having a new subdivision.
You have to talk to us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Emptying one to Kincaid Cemetery Road would not increase the traffic. And my main concern with the subdivision, if it somehow is allowed to go through, is the trucks, the gravel trucks, the concrete trucks, the paving trucks, all of these asphalt trucks, all are going to be on our road. That road's only 18 feet wide. I measured it in 3 places, and Diamond Hill Culvert is about 20 feet wide. 2 feet when you're getting that big a truck is going to make a lot of difference. Plus, those roads weren't made for those 65,000, constantly going through there. And they'll be kicking out the edges, the shoulders. It won't take much time at all. And that was my major concern with that. And now that you mentioned it, the sight line, at least where Ms. Downing's sign is horrible. You wouldn't be able to make a safe turn out there. Maybe that's not where it's going to be, but anyway, that's all.
Just keep in mind that we're still got the preliminary plat review to go through. This is just based off rezone or whether it works or whether it doesn't. But thank you. Anyone else here to speak in opposition?
I'm John Perry, 1690 Old Kincaid Road, and I understand you received a letter from David Habutsky,
Yes.
and he sent an email out to a bunch of us, and I'm just curious with your response to that, especially the first part with phase one of Nancy's place, that you all voted for 5 lots, so when the plat came in, it was 8 lots. Just how did that happen?
I may have to refer to council on it, but I think those lots was divided about 20 years ago, and we wanted to go to 5, but we found a legal flaw in it that we could not request that, if I am correct, Mike.
Yes, sir, there was an old approved preliminary plat that there'd been some reliance on, and that's what led to phase 1.
So that's what it was. So it was more of a legal, document. It was filed probably in 1994 or something like that, if my memory serves me, and we have to follow that document even though it's 25, 30 years old.
Is that document available?
It's the plat, it's the actual plat. Yes, you could pull it in the clerk of court's office.
Oh, okay. And
Well, let's see, I don't know, is there a final plat on phase 1 yet?
Not,
Yes.
Oh, there is.
is it, but even the original plat from 94 would still show the
Yeah.
lots on it.
Yeah, the final plat would be in the clerk's office, preliminary plat would be in the planning and zoning office.
You can see the one from the 90s.
Okay, thank you. And again, just interested in your response to his concerns about phase 2, that there's 1.5 lots that have right-of-ways that are not supposed to be included in the actual square footage.
Say that again, sir?
Well, according to what he looked at, he said there's 9 lots, I think, that are just about exactly 1.5 acres. And according to the ordinance that he quoted.
Oh, I did see that, yes. So, that's a misconception of understanding what right-of-ways are. So the lot is still 1.5 acres, even though there's a 60-foot right-of-way and potentially 30 feet's on your side, you still own 1.5 acres. Even though there's 30 foot of right-of-way that's designated for public utilities, it does not lessen the lot size. So that person that bought 1.5 acres would own all the way to the asphalt. Right-of-way means you're deeming 30 foot, if that's what it is, 30 foot is usable for anything that needs to come through there. Just like any other lot in the county. If you own 10 acres, but most of it's down the side of the road, you still own it all the way to the shoulder of the road, but there is that right-of-way that says that there can be a temporary construction under the surface.
And that can depend on how things are drawn up.
Yeah.
Actually, looking at this one, I think the acreage, it looks like the lot lines are from the right-of-way. Maybe what people are looking at is the building setback line.
Could be. I didn't understand
Is that right?
the impression.
I believe so.
Okay.
I wasn't
Just
sure.
looking at the preliminary plat, it looks like the acreages are computed, or the lots with the acreage computations are only to the right-of-way line. There is a building setback line inside the lot, which is always the case.
Yeah. If that helps.
Okay. And just the other thing about the pricing of the homes, Katy Springs, the last sale I saw was from last year, was $322,000. The new development at the other end of Old Kincaid Road, have not, as far as I know, none of them sold yet. And they started at $425, they're down to $399, and they still aren't moving. So I imagine it's probably going to be $350, $375, what those homes will sell for. And so I believe this new development is going to be very similar. So it's probably the price range that we're going to be looking at.
I understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak in opposition?
Whoops, excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
You're good, you're good.
You're good. You're on the draw. then.
Sorry, I was closer. Kayla Booker, 35 Kincaid Cemetery Road. Are we allowed to ask questions?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Tell us.
Yes. So if it is approved, what is on on the thing, how would we know of the changes that are made? Does that stuff get voted in again? Like, are we, like, the whole subdivision coming out on Kincaid Cemetery Road, what if the engineer doesn't change it, and you guys approve it, but you think it's gonna get changed? Like, how do we know?
It will come back before us for
Okay.
a final plan review and to vote to adopt that plan,
Okay.
which is still a public meeting.
Right,
You can come, you'll see it on each screen, same as we see it here.
Okay.
And at that point, this is one of the things where the public gets misled. They think that the first meeting, like here tonight, that means whatever documents we have in front of us on the drawing is set in stone. That's not true. We can actually change this, flip it around, turn it sideways, whatever this board chooses to request would be what they would need to do if they plan on moving forward. But that's still a vote.
Okay.
Actually, it's more to it than that.
Yeah, it's,
What we're looking at now is potentially a rezone of property. What they are showing us is a concept plan. And that, so they're conceptually saying that there could potentially be 14 lots based on the acre and a half minimum in a R1 zone. There will be a preliminary plat, there would for any subdivision, there would be a preliminary plat process. Again, is public through planning, zoning, then it comes to us. And then there's a final plat process. So there's 2 more times.
Okay.
But this is what they're showing us now is a concept plan.
Okay. So my main concern obviously is safety. I have 2 kids. We ride bikes, we walk. We don't need any more traffic. I feel like sometimes for some reason that road becomes a cut-through road anyways. I don't know why, because it's not a cut-through to anything. But I don't know that you can say that there would not be any more traffic on that road. You don't know what your vehicle's gonna, you don't know what a vehicle's gonna do. You don't know where they're gonna go. I get where she gets that there shouldn't be, but that doesn't mean there's not gonna be. So please take that into consideration. We do have a lot of little ones in the neighborhood, and we do walk a lot. But also, I think the acreage, it's backing up to at least 3 of the properties will back up to 2 of our properties. And I think that, with that being said, that it should at least be those 5-acre lots. And I get the 2,400 square feet minimum, but are they gonna be like a slab built house? Because that's what Cadence Springs are. Those are not the same kind of houses. So I just would like to take that in consideration also, obviously the property values and all that. So, thank you.
so this particular phase will back up to 2 lots.
Yes.
One of 5.26 acres and one at 5.52 acres.
Yes, sir.
The only 2 it touches. It will touch a 47.33 and be across the street from a 35.37.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it borders.
Yes. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yeah, your turn.
I'm Randy Daniel, that 47.3 acres, that would be ours.
All right.
So right now, we would be bordered on one side. As you face the property, as you go towards Colbert, we would be bordered by the first phase of this plan, and then the proposed plan would be directly across the road from our land on Kincaid Cemetery Road. I guess we showed up here and enforced that to try to oppose the first phase of this development. And I was probably as vocal as anybody because we live on the other side of Colbert and we pass Prison Enterprise property every day between us and Highway 72, and we see kind of what developed there. This is a step up, but the first proposal for the first phase of this, we weren't to a single wide, but we were to a double wide, and we fought. And this room would not hold all the people that were here in opposition, and we continued to fight because of the investments that all of us have in properties in that area. And when we do this, the only way we can stop it is if we have the support of you guys in the commission, because the opposition last time was overwhelming. And we get threatened with a lawsuit, and then in the end, that's what happens. But, we love Colbert. Our kids went to high school out here. We love Madison County. But both of them, when they decided to raise their own families, they moved away. And they went to Oconee County. And then when a couple of years ago, our daughter calls and she wants us to come to lunch, and I said, Beth, what do you think Whitney wants? She said, well, either she's pregnant again or they're ready to come back to the country. And we got there, we sat down at the table, Whitney said, first of all, I'll clear the air. I am not pregnant again, but we would like to raise our kids in Madison County. So we made a deal on a nice piece of land that was sitting right behind this 47.3 acres. But they aren't moving back to Madison County to see this kind of development all around us. And their friends are there, and their friends want to move to Madison County, but they're not interested in Madison County to see this kind of development. I'm sorry, maybe that's selfish, that comes from the heart, and I just plead with you guys, some way we got to stop this guy.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak in opposition? Now, anyone here?
We actually need to call for anyone in favor.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was fixing to do. But go ahead, I got one more opposition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Thomas Boker, 1517 Open Cade Road. Really, a lot of my concerns have already been said. I mean, a lot haven't been said. I mean, there's a lot to take in with all this. There's a ripple effect of building subdivisions like this. One, Open Cade Road, where we turn, literally if we go straight, we're going right into this subdivision. So we're already looking left and right, and now we're looking straight ahead. So that, even if it got approved, that needs to be taken out completely. That's just asking for trouble. But I know you already touched on that, and you brought that up right away with the road, and it's not a travel-through road. We ride through that road every day of the week with our little one, 1.5 on our golf cart. So, I mean, we go through all the time. We ride the Dollar General, okay? Well, for
Don't say that, you're on the board, okay?
All right, well, this is phase 2. There's already a phase 1. Phase 1 is going to bring it. I would oppose phase 1 if I would have been here soon enough. Okay, we built a home in 2021. And during that time, I think it's when Cadence Springs was coming about. So that was already a red flag. Now they're doing this right over here. And Redbud Trail, right down the road on Old Kincaid Road, is Pridgeon Enterprises. That's Madison Preserve or whatever. That's the same group, right?
I would assume so, yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right, so we have that. Cadence Springs behind us, okay? Our neighbors have already caught people trespassing since that neighborhood has been there. Okay, so for one, this is not just about traffic flow. For one, there's security, there's, all these construction crews coming through, and although you want to keep business in the house when you talk about Madison County, they can't control who Pridgeon brings on, okay? And we've paid attention the whole time with Redbud Trail and who's been in there, and we've kept an eye on it, and we see it, anyhow, I told my wife, no way, shape, or form you ever drive back there if I'm not with you. Like, it's just, one, there's only two that'll be back there are these construction crew people. And now, as far as what we're talking about here, I know I'm kind of getting off on that. That's already happened, and they already got it zoned out. I don't think there's any opposition we can do on that. I guess it's over 60 lots. Okay, so we have all this traffic down there at Redbud Trail, Cadence Springs behind us, and now looking at phase 2 of Nancy's place. I guess one question I have, like what Josh pointed out about inflation, that the homes did nothing about bringing up our value. That was inflation, okay? So that's common sense there. I'm looking at the value of Cadence Springs, the Madison County value on that. They're, $330,000? Redbud Trail, they're trying to sell them, start off over $400,000. The value, the first home on the right is $224,000, $100,000 less than Cadence Springs. Okay, so I mean that's not going to do nothing but hurt the homes and the investments that we have in Brush Creek. And I guess as a county, what direction are we trying to go? Are we trying For one, look at the school system of Coney County. Why do you think that's so good? Because it attracts good people. Okay, it attracts people that want to be there and bring in high tax dollars and build nice homes. But if we keep building up homes like this, you know, how is that going to help Madison County? And that's one thing I'd like to hear from y'all. How does that subdivision help our county as a whole with tax dollars? And that's a question I would like to bring up. And
I'll try my best to answer this. And this ain't, I don't get a vote on this, okay? So this ain't about this rezone. But I want to try to help you and many others, because I can't win no matter what I tell you. I'm going to make half the room happy, half the room mad. A 2,400 square foot house is nothing to sneeze at. An acre and a half of land right now costs you about $25,000. That's nothing to sneeze at. Kids that graduate Madison County High School tomorrow, 480 some of them graduate. They go to University of Georgia, they get a 4-year degree, they come out and they make $60,000 a year. It's going to be all they can do to afford a $399,000 house or even a $350,000 house. So before everybody in the room, and I'm pro and con, I'm not trying to upset you at all, but this is not a mobile home park, an RV park. Kids have to have a place they can live that they can afford also. So we're not just catering to the low income, but not also catering to the high income either. But we have to have something in the middle. Is this perfect? Maybe, maybe not. I do notice that Faith Lane is right directly beside that 47.38 acres, and that's 0.88 acres, 0.08 of an acre, all the way around with probably 20 homes. I've rode through it. Those are pretty nice looking homes. Are they on the lower end? Yes. Are they the lowest? Absolutely not. And just so the record knows, I built in Brush Creek. First house on the right, about 2,600 square foot. I'd have to look it up right here. You can look it up on QPublic. First house on the right at the main entrance. Built the one on the left also, the stucco house. What was it mine? Hang on. That's about 2,600 square foot on 5 acres. So are we arguing about, or not arguing, are we discussing the amount of land that needs to go with the house, or are we discussing the size house? What this board has to do is to figure out, and it's a hard job, I promise you. I don't make enemies, I make enemies every day, and I make people happy every day on this particular topic. It's 50-50. But I'd have to have people that can afford to live on an acre and a half, and have to have people that can afford to live on 10 acres, 40 acres, or 50 acres, based off their income. But we all have to survive. Right. We all have to live somewhere. Now, I don't sneeze at 2,400 square foot houses. You told me this is going to be 401 minimum lot size, or minimum square footage in Madison County is 401 square foot. Probably have a little bit of a problem with 401 square foot house. I'm not right. Trying to cause any rift. I'm just trying to show you that there's two sides to the coin.
Well, there it is. I get that. You know, here's the thing. Years ago when Brush Creek was built, look what's happened with that subdivision. They built an awesome place, not had covenants in place. You can only build certain size homes. And now, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, Brush Creek is probably the highest tax dollar subdivision in Madison County outside of Sprouting and Milk.
Pretty nice.
Okay, so that, I mean, there's not many places we looked when we moved in. We found a lot in Brush Creek, we jumped on. Okay, one is an investment.
Nice place.
That's where we wanted to build. We want to be protected as far as the street we live on. Didn't realize all this was going on when we were doing it. And like Randy said, you know, people, and John pointed out, there's not a whole lot of places if you are on a higher income that you either want to build or there's no like communities. There's no like places in Coney County where you can get into the neighborhood and they got tennis courts, they got pools, they got all this stuff. If that's what we're building, that's going to attract, you know, if it's a higher end community like that, you're going to attract higher end communities. And I get, you got to go something for everybody. I understand that.
It's hard for this board.
But
I got to move it slow. I got a couple more. We got a bunch more reasons.
Just don't do it right by Brush Creek. There's a lot of places you can build places like this.
And that's the worst thing somebody could say. I want it, but I want it in somebody else's backyard. Yeah. That's the worst thing you could say.
I'm not saying I want it. Okay, I don't want it.
We hear that a lot, though. It comes before the Board of Commissioners. This sounds like a great idea, but put it in Crawford. Well, then what does that say to people in Crawford?
Well, I'm not saying it's a great idea. I oppose the idea.
Gotcha.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna build it, why are you doing it right behind the Fresh Creek? Next place, phase one, was right behind the house that you built. What if this would have been right when you built that home?
It is, it's right behind.
It's right behind that.
Misconception is, we're not doing this. We've been asked for this rezone to do this, so don't think that we're, this is part of government, this is part of the public and the people in business, coming forth to us to ask us about it. So there's a lot of things we have to consider. And, we have to consider, some people would say that these homes that they're looking at building are totally unaffordable for a majority of people in Madison County. So we have to consider it all, just like I said. So just keep that in mind, that it's not us. We have to make hard decisions about what the public is asking us to do, all right? I just want to clarify.
But we do appreciate it.
For the benefit of the speakers as much or more than anybody else, we may want to go back to our typical protocol of letting people speak and not engaging in a discourse.
I agree.
And if we can't, look, I know progress is gonna happen, subdivision's gonna be built, and if we can't beat that, I would ask y'all to consider changing this from 14 lots down to, they're 1.5 acre, make them a minimum 3 acres. That's what Brush Creek had when it first developed. I think the minimum lot is 3 acres. Our neighbor has 20, we have 5, but the minimum anybody ever has is 3. So I think that would increase the value a lot better, make it attractive. And where in Oconee County can you go buy a home reasonably with 3 acres? And it's
I'm glad I don't live in Oconee
so
County.
I'm just saying 3 acres would make it attractive, I think. And I just want privacy for our neighborhood. So, that, I don't know if you can add, you mentioned something about speed bumps. I mean, if this is gonna cause traffic through Old Kincaid Road, construction crews coming from Red Bud Trail, working from Pridgeon, going over here, going back and forth. We're already seeing it, and it's already cause for concern, so I would keep that in mind too, just the safety of our roads. Whether that's putting in speed bumps, or Madison County paying for a gate to put in our subdivision and keep them coming in. So, I want to throw that out there too.
It's nice. Appreciate it.
All right.
Anybody else here to speak in opposition? Now, is anyone here to speak in favor of? All right. No one here to speak in favor of. Is there any rebuttal to any questions that you could possibly answer?
I'll keep it very,
The questions.
very quick. A lot of the, problems I heard, the 1.5 acre lot, where the road's gonna come out, that will all be, I know that y'all know, it'll all be decided in subdivision review. I'm just asking for a rezone. I understand safety is a concern, that's why we're looking at it, and again, in subdivision review, we will decide on that road. A lot of the homes that will be built here, it's like you said, they're not gonna be top of the line, they're not gonna be the low line. A lot of people wouldn't even consider them affordable, because the last, house that sold in Spratly Mill sold for $270 a square foot. So 270 times 2,400, that's a lot of money still. And it's like you said, college kids trying to buy their first home, $399 is a lot. So I believe this subdivision would be good for the community, and that's really all I have to say.
Thank you. Now, with no other discussion, we will close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
What is the status of phase one?
I apologize.
What is the status of phase one?
I'm confused by your question. We went through final plat.
Has there been any development in phase one at this point?
They have gotten building permits to, I believe 3 building permits to start construction homes.
All right. Gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion. Mike, is there anything you'd like to add, sir?
You all have the proposed resolution with conditions that were discussed by email. One thing I've heard here tonight, that you may or may not want to add as conditions, obviously the full board vote, is if you do want to restrict access to Diamond Hill Culvert Road only, and prohibit access on Kincaid Cemetery Road. Remember.
That would need to be in the condition.
Yeah, remember, this is where the conditions need to be at the preliminary plat process. Remember, that's if it preliminary plat complies with, subdivision regulations or the UDC, if we have one at that time, whatever's in effect, then, it has to be approved. There's not nearly as much discretion at that level as there is now, so this is the time to address those things.
So just keep that in mind, gentlemen, before you make the motion. Might I add, I'm sorry, I should have done this before the meeting started. Commissioner Doster is not with us tonight. He is on vacation. This just happens to be in Culver.
Yeah. That's good.
I understand, and I should have addressed that to begin with, but, anyway, he's not here tonight. Mike Shack.
That's all.
Should I elaborate on the, Commissioner Doster's email?
No, that's.
All right.
Mike, you said the conditions that we discussed regarding the access to Diamond Hill Road rather than Kincaid, that needs to be part of tonight's
Yes, sir.
conversation.
Yes, sir.
Which is gonna adjust lot size.
Sure.
And we'll discuss the easement off of Kincaid Road, if the water source, public water, which is your intent, correct, you're gonna look for public water.
Yes.
Does that need to be part of tonight?
Yes, sir. Maybe I should just, so the proposed resolution that I drew up, if it is approved, has conditions, I had sent that out, well, we did it last week, and then I made a little revision this afternoon.
Yeah, there was a last minute revision. I remember that.
But I can just run through those real quickly if you'd like. The first condition, and this is just a boilerplate when development, designing, and structures that meet or exceed standards on concept plan, narrative, representative sketches, and other documents submitted to the zoning application. 2, use of the property is restricted to single-family residential. 3 is water, and to combine A and B. So to summarize it, both phase 1 and phase 2 have to be served by a public water system regulated by DNR pursuant to the Georgia Safe Drinking Water Act. Said system to have adequate fire flow. 4 is about the streets. This property would be connected by at least one public road or streets to phase 1 to provide interconnectivity. And the connecting road or roads would be shown on the preliminary plat for phase 2, as well as the revised final plat for phase 1. Both would be submitted for approval in accordance with local ordinances. 5 is boilerplate. And this is done on the plat, preliminary or the final plat anyway, that all right-of-way improvements and infrastructure would be dedicated and conveyed by the developer to the county. And then the 6th one, a possible 6th one that I just heard discussed, is that phase 2 would have no road access to Kincaid Cemetery Road, and its only access would be on Diamond Hill Culvert Road, if the commissioners want to add that.
So you could, to simplify it, you could add the Exhibit A conditions with adding the caveat to Diamond Hill.
Right, that would become the 6th condition there.
And that would list out your Exhibit A conditions.
Right.
Probably cleaner.
And I just sort of jotted it down here for wording, if you want to hear it and make it part of a motion. that phase 2 shall have no road access, including but not limited to construction vehicle access to Kincaid Cemetery Road. Such access shall only be to Diamond Hill Hospital Road.
Can they make the motion, to include just Exhibit A?
Well, the other side is the resolution, so their motion would be to approve the resolution with the conditions, and if the commissioner is making the motion, wants to add it, with the added condition 6 that I just read. Or you may not like the conditions.
Yeah.
You can make any motion you want, but that was trying to be helpful to have something
I appreciate it.
already tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It would be your intent, I guess with these questions.
Sure.
It would be your intent, Hunter, that all access would be on the internal roads, nothing directly onto Kincaid Road. You know,
I'm a little confused by the question.
but these lots that front Kincaid Road, there'll be no public
No,
access.
there'll be 2 exits, one through phase 1 and then one through phase 2.
But those lots, the only access to those lots would be through the
Through the
roads you're going to
subdivision.
develop.
Yes, sir.
They can't come in the backside.
They can't come in the backside, no,
That's-
sir.
Oh, maybe I misunderstood. I thought what you were suggesting was doing away with this.
Yeah, this is a different question.
Can't
No,
go-
this is a different question.
Okay.
This is asking, somebody wants to build a garage behind their home,
Right.
but it's closer to Kincaid Road, I'm gonna put a driveway off of Kincaid
Gotcha.
Road.
They can't do it.
We can't do that.
Right.
Exactly, yes, sir, you're correct.
Obviously, we're struggling for a motion here in the absence of Commissioner Doster. It's probably not fair for us, even though he did send us that letter, he didn't have the opportunity to hear the comments or here tonight. I do have several concerns, and I understand and appreciate council's work with us on the changes to phase 1. That was not, it's considerably different from what the approval process did, that went back and created more lots there than what was originally designed for. Again, thanks to council for pointing, best recommendation for us to do that. But, with that change there, I'm telling you, I'm uncomfortable with going through phase 2 until I see.
Which part about that? I'm sorry, which part about
The
phase 1?
biggest, this is different from the original approval. There was the cause of the plant, clown back in '95. This became bigger than what was originally done. There ended up being added lots to it.
Yeah, the plat that we have here tonight on phase 1 is the actual plat that we adopted, that we approved.
But that's not the plan that we're using.
That's different from what we used.
No, phase 1 is
Phase 1
completely,
final plat is done and
it's
recorded.
completely done and completely off the book.
Yes, we are only, I gave you that so y'all could see how the roads connected through. The first page is what we're here for tonight. Yes, sir.
Phase 1 just
Just
has
phase
dead end
2.
right there. They're just showing.
I just wanted y'all to see how we did plan on connecting.
Particularly in the light of Brush Creek and the lot sizes that are there. I'm uncomfortable with this presentation tonight, and I'm uncomfortable personally moving forward without Commissioner Doster.
So you could have a motion to table until Commissioner Doster is present.
Right.
I could entertain that motion.
I'll make that motion. This application is presented, including the resolution, be tabled until the district commissioners available for me.
So to have a date certain, would that be your next meeting in July, or your first meeting in August?
Be,
You could do either one, I guess.
yeah, I think This was the only meeting he was gonna have to miss on his calendar date. So I could say that, probably July, if we could hear it back in July. I'm sorry, this is July. Yeah, it'll be the first.
Regular business meeting.
Yes,
So that'll be the 29th then.
that'll be fine.
So, you need a second for that? I'll second.
I have a motion to table due to the absence of the district commissioner until July 29th. Gentlemen, do I hear I heard a second, Commissioner Adams, second by Commissioner Kurt. Any other discussion, gentlemen?
Yes, Hunter, would you mind, it's just part of the conversation. We've got a little time, we've got two and a half, 3 weeks to do this. Could you upgrade this to show what the final plat was, so that in our minds,
Yes, sir.
that we're all comfortable with what's gonna happen at where the 1 and 2 connect together?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, I have a motion first and a second. Commissioner Chalmers.
Yes on the motion to postpone.
Yes.
This will be postponed to July 29th.
Everybody needs to be aware that advertising requirements have already been met. So just be sure to be.
Thank you all for coming.
I'm gonna down one of those up here. Hey, John. Yeah, good to see you. Excellent.
So, yeah.
Try again, huh?
And you're right, Council.
I have a question.
Yeah. One
So that'll be another public hearing?
Huh?
Got public hearings already been done.
So, you're right, not to go back and forth and trying to explain. What I've learned through Board of Education meetings is when you don't try to elaborate a little bit, they leave very hurt if you can make at least a smooth transition somewhat.
Right.
And that was my intent. I was not intending to drag it out all night. But thank you for, sometimes I need you to tell me that just to get me back in check.
Yeah, well,
I appreciate it.
yeah.
I'd have to ask, because my meeting is, it is acceptable to limit
It is.
the conversation to 3 to 5 minutes, whatever, rather than ramble for 20 minutes.
On anything but zoning hearings, so zoning state law, zoning procedure law, says you have to provide a minimum of 10 minutes per side. It doesn't say anything about per speaker. Normally, the way that's handled is an announcement at the beginning of the public hearing that speakers are encouraged to, not required, but encouraged to be concise and be mindful that others may want to speak as well, and there is an overall time limit.
All right, Mr. Scott, would like to move on to item number 2, sir.
We would, sir. Excuse me. Hunter Dowling, applicant for Capital Resource Management LLC, is requesting to rezone approximately 25-acre portion of the property from A1 to R1 to develop a subdivision consisting of 15 1.5-acre lots, and the remaining acres will stay in A2 zoning district. The property is located at 0 Stratton Mill Road in Hull, map 32, parcel 62, district 3. No one came forward to speak in favor of, no one came forward to speak in opposition to. Planning and Zoning Commission voted 6-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir.
Hello again. Okay, I do have another packet, and I will try to keep, hopefully this one quick. Okay. The first page is just the preliminary, and this will be phase 6 of Spratlin Mill subdivision. Page 1 is pretty limb, showing that this phase will extend to Spratling Mill and it will create a third exit for this subdivision. Plan to have 15 1.5 acre lots. On page 2, I just combined phase 5 to 6 so y'all can see the phase we just finished, how it connects through going back, creating that third exit on Spratling Mill Road. And then on the last page, I just gave you an aerial view of the entire subdivision so y'all can see how the roads connect. You can see the 3 exits. And that is my piece. That's all I have to say. If y'all have any questions, feel free to ask.
So you have 2 exits, you have an entrance and an exit either way, or two entrances, 2 exits on Spratling Mill and 1 off of Piedmont Road.
And 1 off of Spratling Way. There will be 3 exits in the subdivision after this phase.
Yeah, Spratling Way, which does to Piedmont.
Yes, so there will be 3. Yes,
All
sir.
right. Thank you. All right, anyone here to speak in, I'm sorry.
I just didn't know if you had any other questions.
Not yet. Anyone here to speak in opposition to this rezone request? All right, anyone here to speak in favor of this rezone request? All right, hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
I have some questions, I cannot read this. On the,
I have a bigger plat. It may make it
well, you can probably
easier.
answer them from that. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at the distances on the 2 dead ends.
If y'all don't mind, this may just make it easier for y'all. That's why I brought it. The way you can see, this is phase 5 that was just finished, and this will be phase 6.
Pretty much fuzzy too, but I'm asking, is this distance? What is this distance?
Are you road footage distances? Yeah, I think, was it 1,500 feet?
There is an ordinance limit, and this moves it. It may have been okay here, you need to know that distance is distance.
That's correct, so it's 150.
I can't read any of it enough to.
So that's,
Yeah.
that's 1,057, so that may need to be looked at. Pulling this mic on road length.
I was just saying, it's just this phase going back here. And the reason we're doing this is connecting water. It's what Madison County wanted us.
I get that, I understand, but what I'm saying is right, go back and read the ordinance, there's a limit to the length of dead end roads.
Gotcha.
So this whole layout may become not possible if these are receiving. Now, this one's not working. This one will be.
Yeah, I can put it in. Yes, sir.
I want to take the motion here tonight, that's what you do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand.
He's looking for it now, but what it is, once you have over a certain length of road, you have to have a secondary exit.
Okay.
And even though you do, but they're still gonna route through one particular one to get to the other 3.
Yes, sir.
Look at that.
I understand.
There's also a maximum number of lots that can be accessed on a cul-de-sac, and I don't remember what that is, but there is a maximum number on the cul-de-sac road.
Yes, sir.
Just double check it.
I didn't get any flag from the P&Z department about it. Did you guys, Randy? I see Lee stepped out.
What?
Was that brought up about your road links when y'all saw it?
No,
It's not.
This,
1,500.
It is 1,500.
but that probably wasn't brought up because it's not part of this contract.
so this one is up being.
Yeah, she showed.
Okay,
So that's what I'm.
eventually.
Yeah, at some point,
So
they may
it'll
have
be a
to.
non-issue on this particular.
Yeah, this is, well,
On this side.
It may eventually.
Yes, sir.
at
I
some
will.
point, we can ask you to do something in or something like that.
And I'm sure we would if y'all will rezone or approve our request. We're willing to do it.
Well, good. Mike, thank you.
Yes, sir.
For that clarity, because I think that takes us out of But that was a good catch.
Best we can leave, that's correct.
That was a very good catch, Mr. Chandler. Any other questions? Because the floor is closed, but, you're welcome to ask questions directly to the applicant.
Actually, the way it said, I'm sorry, if I can just say,
Sure.
just a little twist there. Cul-de-sacs have a maximum length of 1,500 feet or no more than 20 dwellings or lots fronting their own, whichever is more restrictive.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, so we'll be far less than that in both areas.
Anyway, just make sure.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that this, rezone request be approved.
I have a motion by Commissioner May. Gentlemen, do I have a second?
Second motion.
A second by Commissioner Chapman. Any discussion, gentlemen?
Just one thing in my mind, comparing this one to other, obviously, you're adjacent to, already similar kind of construction. We don't have near the degree of, competing different kind of uses adjacent to it. To me, this is the way development should occur. It should start at one point, continue.
Did I hear, Ms. Hunter, did I hear you say that, this does have public water
Yes,
throughout it and fire suppression will be here?
yes, sir.
Okay. I thought it did also.
Just like in phase 6, yes, sir. It'll have the same restrictive covenants and all.
Just make us back note that we're looking at fire suppression in the future. So, all right. So I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner Hyde?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Let's start back with this.
Thank y'all
Thank
very
you for
much.
your patience.
Thank y'all.
All right.
Make this one very quick. Number 3 will withdraw because the applicant did not show at the public hearing for the PZ. So, moving on to number 4. Barrett Poole, applicant, father Kevin Eugene Poole, is requesting to rezone his 8 acres from A2 to AR to allow a second home to be placed on the property as an accessory dwelling unit for his son. The property is located at 11552 Wildcat Ridge Road, Danielsville, map 65, parcel 33 in District 4. No one came forward to, for approval of this particular rezone request. No one came forward in opposition. The planning and zoning voted 6-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Poole, is there anything you'd like to add to that, sir? If that presentation was good enough?
That's better than I could do.
All right. Anyone here to speak in opposition of this rezone request? Hearing none, anyone here to speak in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, we'll close the floor. Gentlemen, I'll bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the rezone.
I have a motion by Commissioner Kirk. I have a second, gentlemen. Second by Commissioner May. I had to look forward. I don't know why. I got your name. Second by Commissioner May. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner Chandler?
Yes.
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 Motion carries, sir.
Number 5, Matthew and Tonya Porterfield are requesting to rezone that 6.65 acres from A2 to AR to allow a second home to be, yes, that's right. Number 5, Matthew and Tonya Porterfield are requesting to rezone that 6.65 acres from A2 to AR to allow a second home to be placed on the property as an accessory dwelling unit for their son. The property is located at 4878 Highway 191 in Coma on map 66, parcel 6303 in District 2. Here, no one came forward in favor of, no one came forward in opposition to. The planning and zoning recommends approval by a 6-0 vote.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Porterfield, anything you'd like to add to that, sir?
Not this time, he did good.
All right. Anyone here speaking opposition?
question, how, where possible you old enough to have a son that needs a house? It's not here, man.
But I was thinking the same thing. We went to school together.
You wasn't even married, we were playing basketball. I know, right?
All right. Anyone here speaking opposition to this rezone request? Anyone here speaking in favor of this rezone request? Hearing none, we'll close the board, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
The rezone request be approved as presented.
Have a motion by Commissioner Chandler. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Adams. Gentlemen, any discussion? Hearing none, Commissioner May.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Motion carries, sir. Y'all have a good night.
Preliminary number 6. David and Tracy Dove are requesting to rezone a 1.5 acre portion of the land from A2 to R1 to allow it to be split off with an existing home. The property is located at 3984 Wildcat Bridge Road in Wilson on map 89, parcel 3 in District 4. At the public hearing, no one came forward in favor of, no one came forward in opposition to. Planning and Zoning Commission voted 4-2 to recommend approval for this particular rezone request.
All right, would you, give us a little bit of detail on the vote, since it was not unanimous as to maybe what some concerns was by the P and Z?
Well, the two gentlemen that voted against it simply because it was a R2 or R1 request. They didn't feel like that R1 fitted in that particular area.
All right, that's fair enough. Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Dove, anything you'd like to add to that, or are you comfortable with that presentation?
Yes, the reason that we're asking, do I need to come up there?
Sure.
Okay.
I need your name and address for the record.
Tracy Dove, 3984 Wildcat Bridge Road, Royston. The reason that we're asking for this is that we originally had the 5.6 acres with a house on it. We bought the 11.14 PN which is beside us. It had a brick house on it. We wanted to combine it all to put it back in conservation. It used to be. It came out of conservation. I think when y'all did the 2 acres for residential, he went below the 10 acre mark without a P&L, so he lost the conservation. So we tried to put it back in. We were told that we needed to combine it all as one lot, so it got turned into an agriculture zone, 16.8 I think. And we want to cut the brick house that was originally cut off by itself. We want it back off with 1.5 acres, because if we do 4, we'll cut half the pecan trees out. And we want to give the house to my daughter.
All right.
And that's why we're asking for the 1.5, because we had a surveyor come out and he said it would take almost half the trees out with it. Because there's a pond on the property, and the pond cuts into a lot of it. Like the pond takes a lot of land, so we would have to go a different route to get the whole 4 with it, and it cut out a lot of the trees.
That's fine. Thank you. Anyone here speak in favor of this rezone request?
Just want to ask a question. All right, so I guess this rezone to combine it was done in December, right?
No.
That's about right.
It was last, okay, I didn't think of that last year. It was last year, yes, sir.
Okay, so that was the same property, okay.
Yes, that we had the 5 and we bought the 11, and they told us to combine it all first and then try to
They
do
know
this.
who told you.
We were told at the zoning office to do it like we did it.
And the way for it to be Cuba, they got 2 houses on.
Yeah, and then so they had to have just one.
And I know in the first meeting, there was an issue about the driveways. There are 2 separate driveways. We will have a driveway, and the house has its own driveway, so we don't have to have another one. So I know that's come up in the past. They both have their own driveways. And the house is actually, on the side, you can see it. The house actually has a fence around it, so technically the house is almost cut off anyway from the pasture. It's always had a fence.
So the reason y'all didn't go with the 4 is totally because of the pecan grove that you purchased to leave it with the...
Yes, our surveyor even told us, because he come out and looked at it, and he just told us, he showed us about what it was gonna be, and it was gonna destroy the pecan orchard.
They've been there forever.
I think it was 110 trees.
Yeah, it also would put them under the minimum, so that would make cuckoo.
True.
So that was a whole, and
Yeah.
we tried to get it back in conservation to begin with.
It's not really,
10 acres.
it's not really like
When did that change?
2 years ago.
We were told last year there was.
As far as I know, it's still, there's no minimum.
There's 12 acres with a house.
That's not a minimum.
But if you're below 10, you have to show Schedule E or something additional.
Yeah.
Shows off and off.
Schedule F, that's right.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
that's right. Thank you. All right, thank you. Anyone here to, anyone here to speak in opposition? Anyone here to speak in favor of? All right, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen will entertain a motion. One of the things I did look at was just right up from it is a 2 acre parcel, a 0.6 acre parcel, a 0.5 acre parcel, a 0.149 acre parcel, and a 0.215. And I get, the acre and a half minimum, but I also see the surrounding scenario on what we're trying to do here. So just things to keep in mind, gentlemen, when I entertain a motion.
Yeah, I wish that there was 4 acres so it fit in the NAR, because the problem that you get into when you do R1s and you just sort of select them, other people around there, when they come, you say, well, how did they get it and I didn't? And then, there's some reasoning here that I guess we see that, but to do that. And that will be that is for a daughter, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, she lives with us now.
All right, and she will be moving there, and it's not gonna be put up for sale or anything.
No, y'all can write down a stipulation.
No,
You can write a
I don't do
stipulation.
that. I just want to clarify that, because
Yes.
one of the things that just from that's nothing we can force to do, but from a sort of makes me feel better about it, that it's a family thing, because I originally, when we did AR, and I'll admit to this, we went to 4, and then we looked at going back to 2,
Yes.
and I was not against going back to 2 myself. So, given my reasoning and where I'm at, even though I hate to do it, I'll make a motion to approve it as to an R1.
I have a motion by Commissioner Kirk for approval. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner May. Any discussion, gentlemen?
I want to be very clearly stated on the record that this is very obviously for a specific, particular case. It is. That this is not in any way intendedly designed to encourage R1s in that area, but for this specific cause, it may be the best and only solution.
I agree with you, Terry.
That's a very good point, and I'm glad it was made. This is one of the things we're going to see in the future. There's going to be conditional times that these things come up. So with that being said, any other discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Action on you.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Motion carries, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I just want some pecans.
You couldn't get all of them.
We'll do this year.
No. Number 7, Chad Griffith, applicant for his parents Andrew and Angela Griffith, is requesting to rezone a 2 acre portion of about 114.05 acres from A2 business to allow it to be split and allow the construction and operation of a small scale installation business. The remaining acres will stay in A2 zone. The property is located at 0 Rogers Mill Road in Danielsville, on map 40, parcel 24 in District 1. At the public hearing, no one came forward in favor of this particular rezone request. There was 3 in opposition to this rezone request. During the public hearing, the Planning and Zoning Commission, after looking at it, recommended to the Board of Commissioners 5-1 to deny.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Griffin.
Chopper, Andrew Griffith, a lot of y'all know this Chopper, 209 Forest Trail, Danielsville, Georgia. The plant right there, that corner right there, I don't know if y'all know the land, Terry, you might know it, but that's a swamp right behind it. That little piece of land right there on that corner is a right-of-way power line, and that swamps, ain't a whole lot I can do with it. And that's what we was trying to get my house, where I get the secretary out of my house for the company. I mean, it's basically a storage where we store material. It ain't gonna be no convenience store people drive up all the time. Well, we got 3 trucks and 1 secretary. So, that's why I got to say on that.
In this installation, what you do, this is not home insulation, this is insulation of pipes, steam pipes and chiller pipes.
Yeah.
Is what you all do.
Yeah, most of my materials is brought to the job. And then once we do the job, that's what we need to shop for, to store materials that's left over.
So this business will not be open to the public?
No.
All right. Any questions, gentlemen, while he's here?
They won't be open to the public, there won't be any deliveries or any.
Now, we have, like I said, most of my deliveries I get to the job. And very rarely we might have a 30-foot van truck come in to bring us. Well, that's once every 3 months maybe. I mean, very rarely.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Anyone here to speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone here to speak in opposition to this rezone? Go ahead, come on, Tom, go ahead.
David Dove, 3984 Wildcat Bridge Road. Really don't have no dog in this fight. I come from a family business where we run our business out of our little room in the house. And with land like that, I understand why they want to have somewhere to store stuff, because we have shingles, we have to set at our houses. It may not be, quote unquote thing to do, but sometimes you have to do what you got to do in the world we live in. So I was just thinking, if you want to build him a shop, what are we doing? I mean, I get you got codes and all that stuff, but we have shingles we leave around and all that kind of stuff, so somewhere to put it is not necessarily a business. You know what I mean? We hand load it, nobody knows we do.
And you're one of the owners of Dove Roofing?
Yes, sir. Well, roofing company's been in business since I'm 3rd generation. We've got 4th and 5th coming now, so I mean, I'd like to see the county thrive. Thanks. I appreciate it. DCD now, we've got 2 different roofing companies.
All right. Thank you, sir. Now, anyone here to speak in opposition of? Hello, young lady. State your name and address for the record, please.
Amy Abrahamson, 178 Old Rogers Mill Road. My property is directly across the street from this location. I want to state clearly that I have no objection to small business in the county. We need more of it. But I'm very concerned about zoning business as a precedent. I participated last year in all the county planning meetings. And I know that these things can open doors to a future that we might not think it would. So that's my concern. There's no businesses along this road at all. My friends who came to speak last time, my neighbors, and he had surgery, so they can't be here tonight. And all the other neighbors I've spoken to feel the same way as I do. And thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else here to speak in opposition of? All right.
Once you start to say something.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sure.
I'm not speaking in favor or in opposition, but I do want you to understand a little bit about the P&Z rarely recommends denial of a lot of stuff, but in this case, the recommendation was based on pretty much the comp plan. There are no businesses in that area at all.
Was there a discussion, particularly from staff, about what other options might? I mean, and Chopper, here's the challenge we get into, and we could be accused of being spot zone by putting a business zone there. Your business, there's no question that your business should not be a problem. The business zone is the problem. So the question is, was there investigation of what other possibilities might occur other than creating a business zone? In other words, like we got the ag business.
No. So that's just very simple. No. That's your question. No.
Thank you, sir.
Staff, did you think of anything else?
No, sir, I can't think of it, but I know we created that. Why don't we finish the public hearing before we have our discussion?
That's fine. So there.
I'm not going to speak in opposition or against it. You're going to have the next 20 or 30 years, people coming up here looking to park landscape trailers, park dump trucks, park tractors on their property. And if they own the property, they should have every right to it. Going forward, though, as y'all are doing more planning in the future, I do feel like we've got to find some sort of a small business, family business zone. I've got generations coming behind me in my surveying business. You know, say there's no business zoning in that area, well, how many businesses are operating in that area that are not in a business zoning is all. Just use a little bit of logic, but I don't think B1 zoning is a solution, but I do think a solution needs to be had for us in this county to be more business friendly, a small 10-person or less businesses.
Yeah, I think you have the same mindset as what Terry was speaking to, and I have in the same situation, but thank you.
Right. Yeah.
You know, this is, I concur with everything that's been said here tonight.
Did we finish our public hearing?
Yes, no one else is speaking opposition. I'll close the floor, bring it back before the board.
Okay, did you want to give rebuttal to the applicant?
If you'd like to have a rebuttal to the young lady was the only.
I didn't hear what she said, but I will say she don't live on Rogers Mill Road. She lives on Florida Road, turns off Rogers Mill Road. Coley Davis Road, from Coley Davis Road back to 106 is farmland. Hay fields, farmland, all the way back. From Coley Davis Road to 98 is all residential. Right there is a break. Why can't we do a little? I mean, what's wrong with it? I'm just asking. I mean, or what's a solution I can put a little in there?
That's what I'm actually asking.
That's what we're reaching for.
Yeah, that's what we're searching for right now, is what is the answer? Because I don't think anybody's opposed to what you're trying to do. It's just the requirements that we have to fall under to get it done.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I would have liked to explore this a little bit better. Yes, sure. Public hearing's closed. It's back before the board. Never mind. Go ahead, young lady.
I just want to clarify for the record, I don't live on Floyd Road, I live on Old Rogers Mill Road, but my property from Rogers Mill Road is directly across from this question.
All right, thank you. Thank you. I know a solution here.
How big a hurry you in, Chuck?
Yes.
I'm bringing my boys into the company. Yeah. We want to get in the neutral zone. I mean, it ain't something got to happen in the next week or two. I mean, like I said, we're just trying to do it by proper channels. Would you mind giving us a little time to see if we can't work on a solution? No.
If you'll.
So this is going to table this?
Yeah, I'm moving, we table this. Do you have an idea how long?
There's August 1st, the first meeting in August is what I mean. So I need 30 days.
Postpone this decision on this until our agenda setting work session in August.
I'll say.
All right, I have a motion to table until the first work session in August by Commissioner Chandler. I have a second by Commissioner Kirk. Gentlemen, any discussion about that motion or any other motion?
I'll just add, if I may, that, I was not asked about this one at the meeting. I thought through some of these things, and I think the PDD Commission discussed it. It cannot be a home occupation, no home there. So there's nothing that it fits into with its current zoning classification. It's not an agricultural related business, I'll be at that exception. So I don't know what's in the current zoning ordinance it could be. Obviously, you folks probably explore that. The bigger question, if you want to pose that to CPL, that would be great.
And maybe at times not an issue, we may be able to do that. But the danger, the concern with the B1 zone is if you look at the list, once it becomes B1 zone, you might die tomorrow, and then anything that can happen in the B1 zone can happen there. So that's the reason we're concerned about it. All of us are stretching, trying to figure out how we can make this happen, preferably without it becoming B1 zone. So, thank you for your patience.
I think the option of an accessory building on an A1 zone as is, an accessory building was not an option because I think it's required that you have a residence there in order to get an accessory building.
But an accessory building is a structure. That's not use. Zoning regulates both.
Correct. This is currently zoned A2, 114 acres on A2.
Well, there are no residents on the property.
It's Swamp River.
All right. Okay.
Same things on the other, the public hearings. The public hearings are satisfied, so there's no advertising. We'll just be back here.
So I have a first and second on that motion. Brian, it's on you.
Yes.
Yes.
It's particular because his business is related to what I do. I'll have to abstain from voting.
I understand.
Yes.
Just make a note, Commissioner Adams. Thank you.
What's the date on that?
Calendar, give me 1 second. Is it, I don't know if it's
August
August
5th.
5th.
August 5th. August 5th, Chop.
All right. Thank you.
Will I receive another notice in the mail about that meeting?
No, ma'am. August 5th.
Should I be there? I should be there?
Yes, ma'am.
Same time, 6 o'clock?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here.
It will be here.
Ms. Abrams, it'll be here.
Here.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Mr. Scott.
Number 8, Chip Loving, applicant for Stacy Camp is requesting to rezone her 23.707 acres from A1 to AR to allow property split into 3 tracts containing 7.279 and 2.214 acre tracts to purchase for him and his 2 children to reside on. The property is located at 0 East Commerce Road in Commerce on map 12, parcel 170 in District 1.
All right.
There was, during the public hearing, no one came forward for this rezone request. No one came forward in opposition. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted 6-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Chip, are you here? Is there anything you'd like to add to that, sir?
No, sir.
All right. Anyone here to speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone here to speak in opposition to this rezone request? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to just be approved as presented.
A motion by Commissioner Adams,
Second.
second by Commissioner Kurt. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner Adams, on you, sorry.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now, sir, you pronounce your name Beecham or Beauchamp?
We're Loving.
No, we're Lovins.
The lady that owns the property we're buying is Boo Champ, Mr.
That's how they say it, through Shannon.
Yes, sir.
And this will get you it's a tough one to learn.
Well, I worked with the son or some, I worked with somebody and they called him that at work because they can't say it the other
That's
way.
Jackson County. Y'all have a great evening. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, sir.
Number 9, Gary Harvard, absence of Karen Myers, is requested to rezone her 26.83 acres from A1 to A2 to allow a 10-acre split. The property is located at 4831 Highway 174 in Danielsville on map 49, parcel 95 in District 4. No one, public hearing, no one came forward. In favor? No one came forward in opposition. We had one to abstain, and the Planning and Zoning Commission voted 5-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Harvin, are you good with that presentation? All right. Anyone here speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone here speak in opposition to this rezone request? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve is second motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Kirk, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Chandler.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right.
All right, last one of the evening, number 10. Cassie Grimes, applicant for her parents, Lance and Julie Wade, is requesting to rezone the 1.5 acre of their 5.86 acre property from A2 to R1. To split with an existing home and rezone the remaining 4.36 acres from A2 to AR to allow a home split for their daughter. The property is located at 4285 Peoria Road in Carlton on map 105, parcel 2A in District 4. We had one member of the Planning and Zoning Commission that was not available that particular night because he had some surgery. The Planning and Zoning, no one came forward in opposition and no one came forward for this particular rezone request, and the Planning and Zoning was split. 3-3, we did not have a different motion, so therefore the vote was 3-3 to tie with no action taken. The Board of Commissioners will consider the request as an approval.
All right, thank you, sir. Anyone here speak in favor of this rezone request? Anyone here speak in opposition to this rezone request? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. And gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion.
Is that what you?
I'm sorry, are you comfortable with that?
I was just gonna say,
That's all me, I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. I'm Casey Grimes. My current address is 3956 Highway 98 East, Comer, Georgia, 30629. A question that got brought up at the previous meeting was about the driveway, because it's already in some type of easement and there's already 2 houses, maybe even 3 on that driveway. I do have access from Danny Roberts and Terry Shirley, the neighboring, lot, to, put an easement. We just haven't went through attorneys yet because I didn't wanna go through all that without it being rezoned. So they have granted access verbally to me for a new driveway. So I'll have my separate driveway for my lot.
So you don't actually touch that field of road?
Yes, sir, where that line is, right, where this line is I'll kind of cut through his pasture right here, go through Danny Roberts is right here, cut through and it'll go straight to my house. Does that make sense? Okay.
I mean, yeah, because it's condition of approval. I would probably make it a condition that easement be guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. And then Ms. Tracy went over the driveway, how long it has to be, how wide it has to be. I have all the measurements in my on my, notes
I would
as well for that.
rather have that than serve off that existing. Yes.
Right, I don't think we are allowed to
You're
even
not.
consider, yeah, so we made sure with Mr. Danny and Mr. Terry that that was no problem at all before we even came to the board about it, and they both agreed that that was perfectly fine. Any questions, please?
And it's your mother that owns this property?
It's my mother and father.
Okay. This will be the only residence on this property? Or is this gonna be the second residence?
It'll be the second, which is why we're rezoning it, but we're running, we didn't wanna rezone all of it to, was it R1, because we didn't wanna do the 1.5 acre lot. So we wanna rezone where my dad's house is to the 1.5 and leave me the remaining 4.36.
I understand.
Since Madison County's building regulations is 4 acres now.
I understand.
But yeah. I have a almost 2-year-old daughter, so we wanna be close and raise her in Madison County, so.
All right, thank you. Gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve with the condition, I guess, that we work that driveway out. Never have
That access, condition that access be on Paoli Road via an easement across the intervening parcel. I don't have the number of it here.
What the council said.
I think we got it for the record. Lacey, you're good, because that's what matters.
Yep.
All right. So I have a motion by Commissioner Kirk. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Adams. Gentlemen, any discussion?
Just the same statement made on the other one is clear that this is for a very specific purpose. There's no intention of creating any patterns here or no subdivision, no major subdivision intent.
This is District 4, but
And this is District 4, we always get strange requests in District 4.
that's right, but it's got the best folks in District 4, let me just say.
Keep chuckling, man. Keep chuckling. All right, gentlemen, thank you for the footnote. It is on Commissioner May.
Yes.
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 Motion carries. Don't forget, you gotta get that legal description.
Yes, sir.
Get it taken care of, and we wish you the best in Madison County.
Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
Yeah, have a good evening.
Discuss future project for the 2025 Community Development Block Grant. Gentlemen, I would, for sake of time, I know it's close to 8 o'clock, I would really like for you to email me back your answers or at least thoughts on each one of these, unless you would like to go over these now. I would entertain you sending me your thought process back on item number 5. But we do have a ticking clock on
Your
this.
water system suggestions.
Correct. But I would, maybe, I think we have a few days. So if you could just take the 4th of July holiday, maybe Monday or Tuesday, shoot me an email back with, as something as simple as just the item numbers, what you would like to see first, re-stagger them in your order, would be fine with me.
And then usually this block grant, we're not limited to water system. You're just.
CDBG is primarily, water and sewer jobs. They do expand out, but, that's what they like to give money for. If Christina needs any further detail or any quicker, we'll get her to email you anything different than I've already said.
And you just want us to prioritize the
Please.
list that we got.
Or other things.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know that it says in this, but I want to say CDBG grants are up to $1 million. And they are normally 80-20 matches. I don't know about this one exactly, but I think that's probably what this is. So you may be able to do your prioritization based off your footage.
Number 4. Yeah, understand correctly, I believe the roads
Yeah.
were committed to that, so,
I think this list was comprised prior to that.
well, sometimes we can get stuff like that in Madison County.
I understand. I'll make a note of that, we'll double check it myself. If you all would like to talk, we'll talk about it. But there is something under urgent matters I have to discuss. This came up today, from the auditor. It's nothing major. First, I'll start off, well, we'll go ahead and do this part. This is the 2023, well, she gave me this sheet and give me the caption, but what this basically is, this is the 2023 budget summary of an adjustment that has to be made. We have not made those, and they are listed on the back of that sheet. The request for the budget amendment is $12,555 to the Sheriff Donation Fund. Request for budget amendment of $3,745 to the E91 Fund. Request for budget amendment of $1,477 to the Drug Abuse Treatment Fund. All that money was spent and replaced, but it was allocated in the wrong spot, so we have to have a budget amendment for correction. So I need a motion from this Board of Commissioners to, a motion to approve the budget amendment as requested, and it's just those dollar amounts, gentlemen.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget amendments as listed.
Second motion. Motion by Commissioner Kirk, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Kirk.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. All right, and anybody, if they, Susan said if anybody had a question on this, just please give her a call. She can explain more in detail. This is where I'm gonna lead with the next point. I didn't say this in the chairman's report because I knew this was coming up in urgent matters. So we got our findings back from the auditor, for 2023, and our auditor was pretty proud of Madison County because he said our ratio of being incorrect or having a balanced budget was 0.0024. And he said that was outstanding to have a budget that close to being perfect. The 0.0024, that was not exact, was things that we did not account for, air conditioning units that were actually more wrecked cars than we thought. We missed a $22 million budget by $24,000 from being dead zero. So he bragged a lot, asked me to send an email to all the department heads, telling them how good of a job they done, staying in line. But, gentlemen, that's pretty impressive to our department heads. 24,000 off 22 million is impressive. So, I just want to give you all that. Executive session to discuss real estate acquisition, personal matters, potential litigation. Sir. Yes, sir. Derek Dawson's not here, so Commissioner Kirk.
Mike, on your CPO suggestions, you got to take a break. Does it need to be a separate zone or allowance within the existing zone?
I have no idea.
Or what you call it, agribusiness, minor business.
I don't know. I mean, you're trying, so the whole point of zoning is not having compatible transmission.
Yeah. She'll get cleaned up.
So you're gonna have to figure out what you think is compatible and not, and how to find it with CPS.
But we need to be clear. It seems to me you got exactly what you want now. The thing about it, if we have CPL though, yes, if we ask the history, we need to be prepared to say there's not a good resolution.
Yeah, I don't know one, but I've never seen that.
A lot of things will have to see. Yes, sir.
You got everything in comparison, thank you.
Pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
I'm assuming that's all.
Pretty good. That's what, you know,
Somebody.